Hello everyone, this is Crota coming at you. Today is March 10th, and I am giving you a shoutcast between Xixi versus Romantic. Game 1 here on Echo Isle. We see Romantic spawning as the red human player on the top left-hand side of the map. Meanwhile, Xixi spawning as the pink Night Elf. Night Elf versus human here on Echo Isle, as we already see an early militia making his way out across the map. That's right, that early militia, very, very useful for setting up that early scout farm and figuring out what strategy that the Night Elf player is implementing. Well, the key things to be looking for is, 1, the Altar of Elders, and 2, the positioning on that Ancient of War. This militia going to come in here and quickly notice that there is no Altar of Elders. What does this mean? Well, any WarCraft 3 player will pretty much know that you are going for a Tavern Hero. Tavern Hero is very popular among the Night Elf players because of that early Moonwell and the ability to regenerate a lot of mana. Now, coming back around, I still don't see when that Altar of Elders will be placed down. I am quite surprised that it hasn't been placed down as of yet, maybe at the 1 minute 15 second mark, which would be right about now. All right, there you go. There is that Altar of Elders right at that 1:15 mark as the game is underway. And we'll have to see what hero will be brought forth. Panda, very, very useful in this matchup because of that early Breath of Fire, but its usefulness really falls off once you get into the mid-game. Spellbreakers do become a problem, but it doesn't look like the human player is going to be going for a very heavy mage-centric army. The Arcane Sanctums really benefit from having a Archmage as your starting hero, but we can see that it is going to be a Mountain King instead. One thing I will note, Xixi is doing a great job just covering the entire map with units, being able to keep track of where his opponent is. Oh, Stormbolt could be coming in. All it would take is just one Stormbolt. No Stormbolt coming in at all. And I am surprised by that because because it is so easy for the Wisp to detonate itself that it's not going to really matter. Oh, there is that Wisp. Are we going to see a Stormbolt? I guess it's just trying to feign it. And there's the feign of the detonation. Nicely done, as the militia are now coming over. All right, Mountain King coming back again. You can see there's a Stormbolt on that Geomancer. Very, very important to try and knock out the unit that actually casts slow. By taking down that unit, you have faster DPS across all of your remaining units, meaning you take less damage because, well, you're taking down your opponent's units that much more quickly. Coming back around on the far side, you can see it. There is an Ancient of War. There is already 4 archers with a Dark Ranger. Dark Ranger, no slouch either. A very, very strong Tavern Hero as these skeletal minions, these lesser dark minions, are being trained. 3 lesser dark minions already out on the field. This Ancient of War is now going to eat its way over and try to take down these Kobold Tunnelers. The one problem on this map, though, is that everything here has medium armor except for these level 1 Kobolds. So the Ancient of War, you can see that he's actually going after the units that have higher armor or medium armor. Very important to constantly do that. Not quite sure why the Tunneler is not actually in position here, as now the Archer is getting in some extra DPS as well. Now going after the Geomancer as the Dark Ranger hits level 2. Very nice. Does pick up a Troll Berserker as well. I don't, however, see a Troll Shadow Priest. Moving back down, the Mountain King leading the rest of his army, and he is going to be going for that classic Mountain King expansion on Echo Isle. By setting up these expansions extremely early, you can really abuse these mercenary camps by hiring units that are generally a little bit more expensive, but because you have the additional gold and you are not able to spend gold on tech, it really does pan out for you. One single scout farm in the front or the middle of the base, as well as the Mountain King sitting at level 3 with a Staff of Teleportation and Boots of Speed could look to do a lot of damage. There goes a Troll Shadow Priest in pretty much one blow there. 225 damage. Very easy to take down a unit, as I'm sure the Forest Troll Berserker his days are numbered as well. Let's go in, trying to take down some units. The archers getting in some easy damage there as the Mountain King is backing off. That ring of regeneration really allowing it to overstay its welcome, as the Mountain King does have a fair bit of hit points just by sitting around and doing nothing. He's going to regenerate those hit points pretty quickly here. You can see that the Mountain King already back up to 650 when it was sub 600 moments ago, and we may try to see him take down a Moonwell. No, not going to be doing that, as we also see more skeletal minions wandering across the field. Now, the Dark Ranger is still trying to creep out these creep camps. She does have level 3, so it is the standard Dark Minions dealing a lot more damage than the lesser variety, and we are still seeing the Troll Trappers falling all across the place. Meanwhile, let's take a look in the center portion of the map. The Footman and the Troll Berserker trying to clear out that wisp. Nothing really going on. Actually, no, I take it back. Skeletal Minions doing a good job preventing a lot of lumber from being harvested. The problem is you are feeding that Mountain King. That Mountain King does have a whole bunch of experience now, as this militia looks like it will get taken down. There it goes. But so does that Dark Minion. Alright, Mountain King should be getting very, very close to level 4. Already about halfway there. Meanwhile, the Dark Ranger is sitting at level 3 and picks up a Naga Sea Witch to bolster the rest of that army. Naga Sea Witch does have Ring of Protection, doesn't have does not have Boots of Speed though, which is something I would have expected on a Naga Sea Witch. Alright, there is some piercing cold damage already. Archers now trying to get off some shots as well. The Naga Sea Witch unable to catch up, as the Dark Ranger may be trying to do a push over here on the bottom left-hand side of the map. One Arcane Tower is here, and that Dark Ranger is going to be taking a little bit of feedback damage there, as we're looking at perhaps hiring up some more units. Back over here, you can see that the Mountain King may be trying to set up an Arcane Vault in this position. I'm not quite sure why there isn't an Arcane Vault yet, but we are also not yet quite at Tier 2. Now, this is going to be a little bit of a strange position for the human player to be in. This Town Hall obviously cannot call militia, so if you do want to call militia, it is going to take a little bit of time. We're also seeing a transition into Druids of the Talon, which means that the Night Elf player wants this game to go short. He knows that the Druids of the Talon are going to be a very, very powerful unit early on, dealing extra magic damage to those footmen and still being ranged while being able to pull back fairly quickly. You can see that the Dark Ranger is still used a scroll of or a replenishment potion, but that Nightcrawler came over. Oh, Tome of Experience, Naga Sea Witch, definitely going to get to level 2 here, as we may be doing a push inside, yes, the natural expansion. Here you go, the Peasant gonna get taken down. No Arcane Vault, as the rest of this army is gonna go ahead and push in there, and this entire Arcane Tower may get taken down extremely quickly. No, going after these peasants as well. Mountain King comes in with it for a Stormbolt. However, the Mountain King needs to really venture forward here, as we now see a beautiful Fork Lightning hit across multiple units. Troll Shadow Priest making short work of all of those minions. Dark Ranger unable to transfer the Scroll of Town portal in time, as the Mountain King now gets level 4, but so does the Dark Ranger. Both sides getting up to level 4 rather quickly, as the Mountain King now getting a bolt off onto the Dark Ranger again. Archers now trying to get a surround onto the Dark Ranger. The Dark Ranger trying to slip through. It looks like it might be able to do exactly that, as we now see a beautiful silence onto that Mountain King. Mountain King does have reduced armor right now. The Dark Ranger is still focusing down these militia one shot at a time, and this is going to be a definite problem. More minions now coming in from the top. What's going to happen here, as the Mountain King perhaps trying to get off a shot? There is a Stormbolt, and the Dark Ranger and the Mountain King both going at it. An extra bash for extra good measure, and a Scroll of Town portal just in time, as the Dark Ranger gets to level 5. Beautifully, beautifully played, and a Peasant stays at 4 hit points. All right. Dark Ranger quickly drinks some Moonwell juice and will be rejoining on this fight. Footman needs to rehire up that Mountain King from that tavern. He cannot take on another Dark Ranger-led attack all too quickly. And with the Druids of the Talon getting that Fairy Fire in, the amount of damage that Mountain King was forced to absorb just increased significantly. All right, the Ancient of Wonders is still right here. He should really be attacking that Mountain King, and in comes the Dark Ranger. Dark Ranger getting off some easy shots there. There is a Staff of Preservation, as the Mountain King now being forced to pull back. Dark Ranger could have picked up a Clarity Potion as well. Not quite sure why she didn't. Getting off some easy shots onto that Mountain King, a quite moving target. That Dark Ranger really a marksman, able to hit moving targets with ease, as we are now looking at an Arcane Tower trying to be constructed. All right, it looks as though none of the footmen will be falling. This one Arcane Tower gonna fall before it even gets really up, as we now may see this Arcane Tower get taken down as well. All right, Archer taking a bit of piercing damage, but doesn't really care. You can see that the Dark Ranger now losing a lot of that mana, needs to take it down, does so with ease, and now may be able to focus down all of these peasants with no problem whatsoever. You can see that the minions are starting to spawn with already 2 greater dark minions on the field, 16 to 19 damage. Xixi coming over in with more militia. What do I see? I see a Dark Ranger ready to just make a skeletal minion army. And I believe this is going to be it for Romantic. Romantic's not going to be able to really fight this back. Even the abolished magic from the Troll Shadow Priest, not enough, as these greater dark minions have 405 hit points. Unit after unit falling, and Xixi, I believe, is going to be taking the game. There is the GG by Romantic, as Xixi takes game 1 in an impressive fashion. All of it really boiling down to that Mountain King getting in, or getting killed. There was one extra bash, and I thought for a moment that the Mountain King was gonna actually level off of that Dark Ranger and then perhaps be able to escape. But using the Scroll of Town Portal, being able to stay alive was just enough, and there is the victory. Xixi taking game 1. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed game 1. Please stay tuned for game number 2.